Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our AS2 session about CEM, Certificate Exchange Messaging. My name is Liz. I'm the product manager for B2BI. I'll be moderating today's user group. We have several speakers sharing information with you today, bringing a wealth of knowledge, experience to the session from both a standards and security perspective, as well as a real-world customer perspective. So I'd like to ask each speaker to introduce themselves. Debra, if you could go first, followed by Ananth and then Murali.
Hi, everyone. I'm Debra Petta, and I am from Drummond Group. I lead the interoperability testing for AS2, AS4, and EBMS. We are currently doing an AS2 interoperability test round right now. If you're unfamiliar with that, that brings AS2 software vendors together in a vendor-neutral, non-competitive environment to test their products against each other, make sure they're interoperable, so that when they go out to the field, all of your customers or all of their customers don't see any issues. It just gives customers a better feeling for the products by doing interoperability testing. So that's my role, and I'm very familiar with CEM, so and I will be talking to it.
Ananth?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I am Ananth Agastya. I'm the Senior Manager for Systems and Application Administration in Cencora. One of the teams I manage is the Axway administration team from a technical standpoint. So certificates are near and dear to me. They have a direct impact on our business. So I'm excited to talk about CEM, a feature that we recently enabled and haven't started using in production yet, but we are having some fun with it. So I'm looking forward to the chat here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Murali Panidepu, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm the B2B product manager at Axway. I've been with Axway for more than 18 years. Currently, I'm responsible for driving the innovation and product adoption, and also help our enterprise customers stay ahead with the latest trends with the product and collaborate with the Axway community and our customer community as possible. Thank you, and welcome to the CEM session.
All right, thanks, everyone. So let's just dive in. Here's the agenda for today's session. The first item sets the stage for our topic. It's what's going on in the B2B world that is creating interest in cert management. What are the industry security trends taking place now, and in what areas are there cause for concern? We'll then focus on the obvious. What is the risk of staying the course and continuing with the status quo, e.g. doing nothing, versus implementing well-known technology mechanisms that can make our lives easier? Once we've covered the basics of CEM, Murali will provide a demo of how Axway's B2BI product handles it, and then we will open up for questions. And again, if you have any, type them into the chat and we'll try to get to them as we go along. All right, some stage setting here. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Certification Authority Browser Forum's mandate to reduce the maximum lifecycle of public SSL TLS certificates from 398 days to just 47 days in the next 4 years. The overall purpose of this mandate, security, to reduce potential vulnerabilities stemming from general mismanagement practices, and to encourage automation and more agile processes around managing certificates and their life cycles. It's for a very specific use case, however, TLS certificates signed by public CA as utilized by HTTPS websites. It does not apply to private TLS certificates, self-signed certs, root CA certs, etc., nor to non-TLS certs, such as those that might be used for AS2 signing and encryption, which is where a lot of companies are experiencing the pain of manually managing certificates. But regardless, it almost doesn't matter. The mandate for shorter life cycles is one that will eventually permeate the other cert realms, and security teams are responding across the board. So that brings us to the reason we're here today. And with that, I will hand things over now to Debra to provide some additional context on the AS2 CEM.
Hi. So as we've already said, you can see that from the diagram, the previous diagram, that the lifespan is expected to decrease over time. We're also seeing more and more companies migrating their B2B integrations into the cloud, and in those environments, automation and zero downtime are critical, and manual certificate exchanges simply don't fit. Finally, there's a global supply chain pressure. Businesses today can't afford the disruptions of being down. If a certificate expires, transactions can stop immediately, and in supply chains that depend on precise timing, that's a major risk. One of the key parts of AS2 security is the use of X509 digital certificates. As Liz already mentioned, these certificates are used in two ways: to encrypt and sign the content of the messages themselves, and to encrypt the communication pipeline using TLS, which we've already talked about. This is also known as SSL. CEM, which we've already talked about, stands for Certificate Exchange Messaging. It's an extension to AS2, and it automates the exchange management and tracking of these certificates between trading partners. Without CEM, certificate updates mean sending manual emails, exchanging files, and sometimes even scheduling downtime just to get both sides updated correctly. With CEM, partners can securely exchange new certificates through the existing AS2 trading relationship. That reduces errors, eliminates back and forth coordination, and makes certificate changes much smoother and more reliable. And best of all, the need for manual coordination and the risk of downtime is dramatically reduced. That's all I have. Thanks.
Liz, you're on mute.
And now I am not. Apologies for that. So thanks, Debra. Okay, so now that we know more about CEM and how it can help from a security and automation standpoint, let's hear about a real-world application. Ananth, share your assessment of the certificate management challenge and how it impacts Cencora and how you see CEM addressing it.
Thank you, Liz. CEM has been available in AS2 engines, or at least in our AS2 engine provided by Axway for a very long time. Now, I was not aware of CEM until I went to the Axway Summit in 2025. And Axway said, oh, this is very easy, didn't you know, right? So we came back, we did some research, and with the help of Axway, we enabled CEM. And we had our own little group with other B2B partners in the area, and we found some volunteers that we could test CEM with. So our real world example is that we were able to demo that with our experimentations that we had done internally with the partner. They received the certificate, and all they had to do was two things: one, enable CEM, and two, click to accept the message. The data transfer just like any other data transfer, right? It shows up in a different section, and all they have to do is click. And it was beautiful. We were all grinning ear to ear because we could think ahead for the next 3, 4, 5 years, and we were just telling ourselves, okay, bring it on. You can do this every day if you want. I can make this work. So my selfish purpose here is to call out the benefits of CEM, not just for you, but for my selfish needs, which is it'll also make our lives easier, my life easier, and we can make this a business as usual kind of process. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Liz.
All right. Thanks, Ananth. All right. Before we move on to the demo we've got planned, I do want to mention something. We are talking about CEM, Certificate Exchange Messaging, today, which is an extension of the AS2 protocol. There are other B2B protocols with their own cert management standards, such as the SCX, Security Exchange, Certificate Exchange for OFTP v2, and the Cert Exchange and Agreement Update for AS4. But we're focusing on AS2 as it is the most globally predominant B2B protocol. Okay, CEM is also, it's a proven mature extension, as Debra mentioned, that meets the requirements for secure automated cert exchange. So just wanted to do that shout out to the other protocols out there, but again, why we're focusing on AS2 today. With that, I will hand it over to Murali for the demo.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. So here is a high-level flow diagram of how a CEM works. So if you look at it, so you have two, I would call it as an enterprise and their suppliers, or it could be like, a supplier and its partners, right? So on the left side, you could see that a partner would like to update their certificate and then send that certificate over the CEM into the partner B so that it automates, right? So in this case, you can see that partner A sends a CEM request to partner B, and partner B, as Ananth said, has to simply just click on accept, or also have an automated step where you can simply accept automatically. So once the partner B accepts, the acknowledgement is sent back to the partner A saying that, hey, the certificate has been accepted. So which completes the complete chain of updating the certificate on both the sides, and they can exchange the data with that latest certificate. So this is how simple a CEM works. And the most important thing in this one is they are using the existing layer of already existing communication, which is their AS2. So since they're already AS2 partners, they have an underlying AS2 communication already established, and CEM request is sent over AS2, and the acknowledgement is also sent back on AS2. So which means we're not trying to open new ports or anything for this particular setup. So now I would like to show you a quick demo of how we could use the Axway B2BI, and then how we could enable CEM using the B2BI. So for this demo, currently I'm using two Axway products. One is called as B2BI, which is actually a gateway, a B2B, I would call it as an AS2 gateway. And then we have the second product, which is called as Activator, which is actually an endpoint, which also supports the AS2 protocol and CEM enabled. So first we will go to the B2BI, which is the, as I said, the gateway product. So you can think that this is the supplier, and the supplier would like to update their certificate. So you go to the community, and inside the community, you have the certificates. So here, I would like to add a new certificate. And here, for the demo purpose, I'm selecting a self-signed certificate. And provide the properties like expiration, when it's going to expire, or choose what it is used for. Go next. And then next. And this is the final step where you could give, of course, a name to that particular certificate. And also the purpose of this adding the certificate, what is this certificate is being used for, whether you're using it for signing, encryption, or both, or SSL client authentication, you can choose those options. And the most important thing in this section, in this page, is the send certificate exchange messages to the partners, this checkbox. This is being ignored or not looked into, doesn't have any urgency, but now this is the time, as we know that, with the security demands, we have to use this particular one. So once you select that one, the CEM is enabled, and it automatically lists the partners which has AS2 communication enabled in this particular community. Even you may have like 10 partners, but right now I have 3 partners with AS2 communication. So it is showing, listing those 3 partners. The best practice is to select all the partners, because you want to send the certificate update to all the partners. But right now in the demo, I would use only one of the partner. The next important thing is the respond by date. So this is the date, which is the date when your current certificate is going to expire, and you want your partners to accept the new certificate by this particular date. Or also, this is the date when the new certificate will be automatically installed into on the supplier side. So now I selected the community one partner. I would like to send the CEM request. Finish. So the CEM request is sent to the partner. Also in the B2BI, we provide a, the ability to track the CEM request. What happened to you send the CEM request and the partner might have received or not received, accepted, not accepted. So you go to this manage trading configuration page, and here we provide two links. One is manage received certificate exchange request to check anything that you're receiving, and also manage sent certificate exchange trust request, where you could see the sent certificate request. So since we sent a certificate to the partner, I'll click on that manage sent certificate exchange request. So here is the one which we just sent. And so here you can see that, the certificate has been sent to the partner and it is sent, and the current status is not accepted or rejected at this point of time. So now we will go to the activator, which is actually on the partner side. We'll go to the other product, as I said, which is the endpoint. So here we'll go to the partner and look at the, in the actual partner, which is ABC Supply, which has received the certificate. So right now, this is still the old certificate. We have not accepted the new certificate yet. So we can see that the certificate is still there. The old certificate is still there. Now we'll go to manage trading configuration here and go to manage received certificate exchange requests. So here we can see the one on the top, which is the latest one that is received and which is not accepted yet. Now we will go into the request details. Also, the other option here is you can choose to whether you want to have this process to be automatically accepted, or right now it is set to manual at this point of time. So now we will go look at into the certificate request. And there you have the accept button. So simply just click on accept. That's it. So the certificate is installed on your endpoint side. Now we go to the community again, go back and look at it at the partner. Now you can see that, and that the partner certificates, you can see that the certificate is added already here. Right? So this is as simple. Now we go back to our community, which is the, as I said, the B2BI product, which is the supplier side. Manage trading configuration, manage sent certificate request. So here now you can see the status is already updated, that the one total we sent one to one partner, that one partner has accepted. So you could also not only when you send it to, for example, multiple partners, you send it to 10 partners, and out of the 10 partners, they have not accepted the certificate, for example, by the end of the date that we specified. Then the certificate will be automatically installed. Or if all the partners have already accepted already, then the certificate will be automatically installed much before than the date that we have specified on. So this is how the CEM works inside the B2BI. And that's the end of my demo. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Murali. I'll take it back. All right. So with everything you've heard about and perhaps learned today, the natural question would be what to do next. What are the actions that you can take on your end? Here is what we recommend. Take what you've learned about CEM from Debra and about the AS2 and what Ananth from Cencora has shared about his anticipation of looks like you're going to save perhaps hundreds of hours in managing certs with your AS2 partners. Use that to prioritize initiative within your organization. Because, at the end of the day, managing certs is a challenge for which there is no acceptable alternative other than automation at the end of the day. And this is one of the ways you can do it. So then, of course, check your B2B solutions capabilities, make sure that CEM is something you can obviously take advantage of. And then next, follow Ananth's lead. Identify some strategic partners that you can test the capability with. And of course, once that is a success, turn it on and start the automation process and reap the rewards. And with that, I will open it up for some Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? I know it looks like there's something in the chat. Does this process require an additional component in the Axway product suite? No. If you are using B2BI, then you're golden. As Murali demonstrated, the product that the AS2, the CEM extension is there as part of the AS2 product. There is nothing you need to do except utilize it. And then Sophia, if we use CEM, but not all of our partners using it, we have to continue to send them, start in the old way, correct? Yes, or you can convince them to buy a CEM solution or solution that has the CEM. Murali demonstrated Activator, which is one of Axway's endpoints. You know, it's comes with CEM out of the box. Jacques, how is this an option enabled? Hopefully Murali's demo demonstrated that within the B2BI product. However, we can't respond about how other products might utilizing. There are, and Debra, I don't know if that's something you might want to speak to. I know there's several certified products out there that have CEM.
Yeah, I want to comment on that one, Liz, actually. So inside the B2BI, it is by default, it's enabled. You don't have to do any, it's not licensed or something like that. If you have AS2 enabled, the CEM is enabled by default. For the other products, if you have to do with non-Axway products, if the non-Axway products are CEM enabled, because CEM is part of the AS2 definition, if the non-Axway products are CEM enabled, it should work the same way. So the request is sent, and those products in whatever the interface they have, you should able to accept those the CEM request, and then the protocol takes care of seamlessly enabling the certificates back and forth between non-Axway products as well. But the products must be CEM enabled.
Okay.
And the one of the worst question, like, what version do you have to be on this one? For B2BI, we have it for almost, like, I would say this CEM feature enabled at least for the last 7 to 8 years. So if you are running a B2BI product, at least currently, I mean, it should be enabled by you.
I believe CEM has been out there since about 2005.
Yeah.
So I think just about every product has it, or every product that's enabled it should have it out in the field. We know that there's at least 3 active products, Axway and 2 others, that are 100% CEM enabled. If you're unsure if your partner's product has it or not, when you receive a message from them and you're able to dig into the message content itself, within the MIME headers, there should be an EDI in features header. And if that EDI in features header contains the word CEM, then you know that product is CEM enabled. And if anybody ever has any questions about that, feel free to contact me. I can help you dig into your product and see if that's true or not. I'll put my direct email in the chat, and feel free to contact me. I'm always here for questions or to help you, guide you through this process, because I really truly believe it's important. So that is mine.
Thank you, Debra, for giving those nuances on the data layer. And I
Certainly.
encourage everybody who's using an AS2 engine, reach out to your vendors with these questions. And the way we want to articulate is, we want this capability. It's actually not an option anymore. That's the tone we have been using, because we've got more than 1,000 partners who use AS2 TLS certificates, close to 1,300, maybe 1,400 now. Business will continue to grow for all of us. The interval to renew certificates is going to hit 6 months, give or take, in March. There are some of us who are thinking, oh, I'm just going to circumvent this whole process by using self-signed certificates, and that might buy you some time. However, the B2B partners that you work closely with might not have that option. They might stick to the standards driven by their InfoSec organizations, and sooner or later, the conversation about automating this for the sake of stability, security, and from the standpoint of not impacting your operating income, right? All of those things will come up sooner than later. So I strongly urge all of you to reach out to your vendors and use these magic words, right? Certificate exchange messaging, and ask them about the capability and the benefits. If you have to enable, how to enable, and in partnership with Debra just volunteered, right? I think we can go places. Thank you.
Absolutely. And if they say they don't support it, ask them why not. They should. This is now no longer a nice to have. It's a must have. And if they haven't implemented it, they should. And we at Drummond Group do work with all of the vendors who are SEM enabled to make sure that all the products interoperate with each other. And so we do provide that. And if they would like to contact us, we can help them with their development as well as their interoperability testing.
Awesome. There is a question here. Not sure, Murali, if you might help it. Is an API license option needed to use CA automation such as DigiCert PLM to drive the issuing and activation? Not necessary.
No, there is no additional things required to, to work with the, whether it's a public certificate or the self-signed certificate, it works the same way.
Right, yeah. And I think we've already addressed the other one, but other products, once we go live with the new certificate, are the older certificates automatically cleaned up from the system? Well, they're replaced. Or if you said, are they deleted? That's
the older
separate
certificates
effort.
are still there, actually, they're not deleted. So you still have the list of old certificates. So, the partners who are communicating with the old certificates might still work till you have your new certificate updated.
Right. Does B2BI send an alert if a CEM request is received?
Inside the B2BI, we see just like any other AS2 messages, the CEM messages are also, can be tracked from the message tracker. And if there is an alert that is set up for that particular message type, you should be able to receive the alert, or if you're using some Sentinel or something. Since these are all also sent to as treated as normal messages, just the state of that message is different.
I'd like to add to that real quick. That was a very good point. First, about whether the old certificate will be cleaned up, and second, about operationally how this is received and how an event might get triggered, right? So we might use Sentinel, we might use other custom monitoring tools. We are internally exploring now what it means to get alerted when X number of partners have not updated the certificate by such and such time frame. That requires a procedure that's outside of SEM, right? We have to think about building a capability to escalate properly and bring attention to an upcoming certificate expiration, right? We already have a great process, but we have to think about how to evolve. And in addition to that, we don't want to necessarily delete the old certificate because there might be operational challenges from the B2B partner, and they might want to hang on to that new certificate until they hit their maintenance window, for example, right? So we offer that capability, that flexibility. So all of these things come together from an operational standpoint, and these are certainly conversations you should have about continual improvement within your environment. Thank you.
Yeah, additionally, Ananth, from the monitoring, from the operations perspective, so what we have done in B2BI, so we have the REST API support for the CEM already. So whatever you're seeing from the user UI that, you click on send to look into send request and, the received request, the same thing, you can call it from an API to find out. So you send it to 100 partners and you want to know how many partners have accepted. So that is actually API driven already. So simply call the REST API, it will give you the results on the same results that you're seeing on the UI.
Awesome. Thank you, Murali.
All right. There was one question I just answered that via the chat about knowing if you have an activator, that has to be, activator is a separate product. requires a separate license, so it won't be part if you only have a B2B IMCFT license, you will not have access to Activator unless it's purchased. I think we've answered all the questions so far. Is there anything anybody else? If not, all right. Thank you so much.